Hello, I'm Seth, and this is my Woodburner project that I'm working on. I'm building a outdoor wood burner, also called hydronic heaters, outdoor wood boilers, outdoor wood burners, etc. Basically, it's going to be a firebox, which is what I've got here. I've got the firebox in this side, and then I'm going to have a water jacket, which is going to consist of this 5-inch sheet of metal here. I'm going to have another sheet of metal out here, probably 3/8 from there that goes up. Everything here is quarter steel on the inside. I've tried to double weld all of my joints just to show you some of the stuff that's going on here. I'm going to end up having a 24-inch by 24-inch door. This piece here is 12 by 30. It gives me a 29.5-inch inside diameter of my wood burner. The chickens are kind of active today. I don't know if you can hear them. The unit is 39 inches deep from the back up to there is the 39 inches, and then it's going to be, like I said, it's 29.5 across, 36 I'm sorry, up. So from here I've got the 12-inch piece. I'm going to have a 3-inch by 24-inch piece that goes all the way up here to this top line right there, and then I'll have a 12-inch by 30-inch piece that comes up here and tops it off. So right across there is going to be the top. It'll actually have the piece will just sit across there, so it'll have 5 inches extended behind it, and then the water jacket on top there also. Just to show you one of the things that I've actually changed that I'm working on. I originally was going to put these on as an extra heat exchanger, some tubes with water through them basically. And I had this piece here cut out so that it would go on there and then follow that. I don't know if you can see the white line there. It would follow that up to the peak. What I ended up deciding was that this piece was too complicated up on these top parts right here where we had the angle weld right there. So I'd have to weld. I don't know that I could weld even on the inside, so I'd only have one side weld on the outside edge. Then if the thing ever went bad, this side's going to be in the water jacket, so I couldn't come up with a way that I could get into there to weld reliably. So I ended up scrapping that idea. Another thing that I came up with was that putting my peak right up to there, and again, this is where I'll have the top of the water jacket will sit across here. It's just going to kind of rest on that, and it'll be welded on the outside. I'll show another video when I get to that point. But the peak would be right here, and I wouldn't have any water on top of that. So that was something I didn't think about when I first started. So I ended up cutting my pieces that were going from there down to there. I cut them 1.5 inches shorter. Actually, I take it back. I cut the other one 1.5 inches. I had to redo this one here. I had to just have another piece cut for it. So now my peak is going to be about right there. It's going to be, I think it's about 2 inches down. My pieces are 17.5 inches now that go from that corner without these tubes. They go from that corner up. Now the thing that I was trying to do with these tubes was to put this sheet on here, and it was going to be something that I could slide in with the unit in place, or with the roof in place. I could slide this piece in and then push these bricks back into their location that they're at. The benefit that I was going to put an angle iron right here coming up off of this piece. It was going to come over and up just with an angle iron underneath it. So the benefit of that was it gives kind of a section where the smoke is going to come from down in there. It's going to come up and go out, and then the chimney is going to be right there in the very back, and it would go up the chimney. I like that idea still, and I'm going to try to salvage that by just putting some angle iron across there. Let me show you over here. I've got my roof that I've made. Now this was what I did to get this. Let me see if I can find them here. I had this piece here that I made, and you can see this little tab up there. I've got another tab right here. I made this by just setting it on top of the firebox and putting these tabs so that they were right on the edges of the firebox, right over there and right there, so that they lined up. That way I knew where the roof would be at. And then I set this top was actually upside down. I set it onto those, and then I used some magnets to hold the two pieces together while I welded it. So that's, and then I basically I tacked it on the ground so that I had about 3 inches of welds. It was 3 1-inch sections that I welded together there. Put it up on top of the firebox, and I tacked in the corners. I tacked in these corners right back here. You can actually see right there where I've ground it out a bit. So I tacked it there, and I tacked it on the other side on the same spot. Made sure everything lined up with the front so that all that was right. I had to kind of push it down into there a little bit, just to kind of spread it a little wider on one side and a little narrower on the other. Got it lined up, and then I went ahead, while it was on top of the firebox, I welded it together on the top seam. Now I couldn't get this bottom seam. I probably could if I was a good welder, but I'm not. So I went ahead and I took it off and I put it on the ground, and then I did that weld going along there for that seam. And now I've got that ready. I'm going to go ahead and cut my chimney out. I've actually, let me show you here. I've got the chimney is kind of lined up here. This is what I'm using for my chimney. It's 36 inches tall. It's an 8 by 8, which actually comes out to 8 1/4 by 8 1/4 square. And that's just because of that overlap. You see, I've got each piece overlaps. This one overlaps to there. That one overlaps to there. This piece overlaps there, and so on. So I've got an 8 1/4 square. Just use some clamps. I got some of these right angle clamps right here that came in real handy. Put one on top, one on bottom. Got those at Tractor Supply. And then I also used some pipe clamps to kind of hold them this way when I put them together. But I basically made this angle and this angle separately, and then I put them together, and just a little bit ago here I tacked them. You can see I've got a little bit of tack weld there, and another little bit of a tack weld right there. And then I'll finish those probably in the morning. But I'm using a Hobart Stickmate LX. I bought it specifically for this project. It's AC and DC model. I highly recommend that DC model just because from what I found, it's a lot smoother weld. I don't know much about welding. I've only been welding for this project besides the class I took in high school, which was about 15 years ago. You can see a scrap piece laying in there. I took some pieces and practiced before I started. But in order to ensure my welds, I did weld everything twice. I tried to do all those twice. And then I also did them on front and back. So it is a little bit excessive, but it's hopefully going to be waterproof. An Amish guy told me that the hardest part about building these things is making them waterproof, so I've really focused on trying to get that. I'm only going to have just a couple of welds that will only be on one side. I think this corner piece up here I'm only going to do on one side. I may try to get in there and do some upside down welding. Not sure how good I'll be at that, but so that angle right there will be just on the top. And then if it ever leaks, I can always go in and weld it from inside the firebox. But again, I've made it for maintenance reasons so that it'll be weldable from both sides. Back to my firebox here. If you saw that there's no bottom in it, I took some ideas from several units that I liked and that I didn't like. This one is a little bit of the Heatmore design, where they've actually got a sand bottom. The bricks that it's sitting on now are just to work on. I'm not actually going to have it in this position, in this spot. I'm going to move it over by my wood pile. But the brick, if you can see down here, I've actually got. Now let me see if I can get that to light up there. There you go. I've got a bit of the brick kind of underlaps there, I guess, by about an inch. It's kind of set back about an inch. That's what I'd like to have all the way around. And then right through here, I'll put fire brick all the way around, just to provide a little bit of space from that. And then the rest of it will be filled with sand. So there's what I've got so far. Again, just to give you some measurements, this piece down here, I've got two of these. They're 49 by 5 inches. This piece here is 30. Let me verify this. No, I'm sorry. That piece there is 29 by 5, and I've got one of those in front and back. This sheet here is 36 inches tall by 39 inches long. And the back piece back here is 30 wide by 48. And then I've got, like I said, this one right here is 30 wide by 48, or 30 wide by 12. I'll have two pieces of 3 by 24 coming up here, and a 12 by 30 up here to top it off. I'm sorry, up here to top it off will be a 12 by 30, and that'll actually connect to the angled section that I'm going to have there for my roof. So there it is. I'll have another video here shortly. As I move on, I wanted to get this portion of it right now, and so any questions, just post a comment and I'll try to answer stuff. So have a good day. Thanks for watching. Bye.